Welcome back to. Have you ever held a tiny old coin in your hand and wondered if it could be hiding a remarkable story or even a surprising value? Across the world, collectors spend years searching through old collections, flea markets, and forgotten coin jars, hoping to uncover a small piece of history that everyone else has overlooked. Sometimes the most ordinary-looking coins turn out to be the most fascinating because they carry stories of changing nations, economic transformation, and the lives of millions of people who once used them every day. Today's coin is one of those historic pieces that deserves far more attention than it usually receives. It may not be made of gold or silver, and it may not look extraordinary at first glance, but it represents an important chapter in South African history and continues to attract collectors from around the world. If you love rare coins, historical treasures, and learning what makes certain coins collectible, then you're in the right place. Welcome back to Hardest Penny, the channel where every coin has a story worth discovering. Stay with me until the very end, because this small bronze coin may surprise you with its history, its design, and the reasons collectors continue to search for well-preserved examples today. Suid Afrika 1.3Million coin, 1964. The Suid Afrika 1/2 cent coin, dated 1964, is one of the earliest coins issued after South Africa adopted its decimal currency system. Before decimalization, the country used a completely different monetary system based on pounds, shillings, and pence. Everything changed in 1961 when South Africa introduced the rand and cent, making calculations much easier for businesses and ordinary citizens. The half cent became the smallest denomination in the new currency system, allowing people to make very small purchases and receive exact change during everyday transactions. The word Suid Afrika appears on the coin because it is the Afrikaans name for South Africa. During that period, the country's coins commonly displayed both English and Afrikaans, reflecting the nation's bilingual heritage. This bilingual design makes South African coins unique and instantly recognizable to collectors around the world. The 1964 issue was struck only 3 years after decimal currency was introduced, making it an important part of South Africa's modern numismatic history. Although millions of these coins were produced, they represent a fascinating moment when the country's economy was adapting to a completely new monetary system. The coin was minted in bronze, giving it a warm reddish-brown appearance when new. Bronze was an ideal choice because it was durable, inexpensive, and resistant to everyday wear. On one side of the coin, collectors will find the denomination 1/2C, along with the bilingual inscriptions. The design is clean, simple, and easy to recognize. The reverse features South Africa's coat of arms used during that era, symbolizing the country's government and national identity. Every element of the design reflects the artistic style of the early 1960s and serves as a reminder of the nation's history. Although the 1964 half cent circulated widely, very few people at the time imagined that these tiny coins would one day become collectible. Most were simply used for shopping, paying small debts, or making exact change. Children often carried them to buy sweets, while adults used them in everyday markets and local stores. Over time, inflation gradually reduced the purchasing power of the half cent until it became impractical to continue producing such a small denomination. Eventually, the half cent disappeared from circulation as prices increased and the coin no longer had meaningful buying power. Many examples were lost, melted, or simply thrown away because people believed they would never have any future value. Fortunately, thousands were saved by collectors, families, and individuals who appreciated their historical importance. Today, the value of a 1964 Suid Afrika 1/2 cent depends on several important factors. The first is condition. Coins that have spent decades in circulation usually show scratches, worn details, and faded surfaces. These examples are common and generally have only modest collector value. However, coins that remain in brilliant, uncirculated condition are much more desirable because they preserve the sharp details and original mint luster that collectors admire. Another important factor is rarity and high grades. Mint errors also increase interest. Occasionally, a coin leaves the mint with mistakes such as an off-center strike, a clip planchet, a die crack, or a double strike. These production errors are accidental and usually occur in very small numbers. If a genuine 1964 half-cent displays one of these unusual characteristics, its value can increase dramatically because error coins are highly sought after by collectors. Authentication is another important step for valuable coins. Professional grading services carefully examine the coin to confirm that it is genuine, evaluate its condition, and assign an official grade. Certified coins are generally more trusted in the marketplace because buyers know they have been professionally inspected. One mistake many beginners make is cleaning old coins. It may seem like a good idea to polish a bronze coin until it shines, but doing so can permanently damage the original surface. Collectors usually prefer coins with natural aging rather than cleaned examples. Even a gentle cleaning can reduce a coin's value because it removes the original finish created at the mint. If you believe you own a particularly attractive example, store it properly in a protective coin holder. Avoid touching the surfaces with your fingers because natural skin oils can leave marks over time. Proper storage helps preserve the coin for future generations and protects its collectible value. So how much is a 1964 Suid Afrika 1/2 cent actually worth? Most circulated examples are affordable and can usually be purchased for only a few dollars depending on their condition. Better preserved coins may sell for higher prices, while brilliant uncirculated examples can command a noticeable premium. Certified high-grade specimens are especially attractive to serious collectors and may achieve significantly stronger prices whenever demand is high. Although this coin is not considered one of the rarest South African coins ever produced, it remains an essential piece for anyone building a complete South African decimal coin collection. Collectors appreciate it because it marks the early years of the country's decimal currency system and represents an important transition in financial history. Beyond its market value, the 1964 half cent is a reminder that every coin carries a story. It passed through countless hands, traveled across cities and villages, and witnessed decades of history. It represents ordinary people buying everyday necessities, businesses making change, and a nation adapting to a modern currency system. These historical connections make the coin far more meaningful than its original face value. Many experienced collectors say that the true joy of numismatics is not simply finding expensive coins, but discovering the history behind them. Every date, design, and denomination tells part of a larger story. The Suid Afrika 1/2 cent of 1964 is a perfect example of how even the smallest coin can preserve an important chapter of a nation's past. Whether you're just beginning your collecting journey or have been collecting for years, this little bronze coin deserves a place in your collection. It combines history, craftsmanship, and nostalgia in a way that few modern coins can match. It reminds us that treasures do not always come in large sizes or precious metals. Sometimes the smallest coins hold the greatest stories. If you're making YouTube videos, this script is optimized for approximately 8 to 10 minutes of narration, around 1,200 words.